change?
Change? Ah, I don't have any change. No! Change!
Spare some change.
Leave me alone, I don't have any change!
All right, Ken, what's going on today, man, on Kenny's Corner?
There's a lot of subjects going on.
Well, I want you to just pick
We
one.
talk about Russia
I want you
and
to
the
pick one.
Ukraine.
Ukraine?
Biden give them billions of dollars again to Ukraine.
Now, wait a minute. I want to get this before we. Are we going to talk about Russia or are we going to talk about something else? Is this what we're going to talk about, the Russian thing right now?
For right now, this would be the main
This is it
topic.
today. So today's episode, this is episode 3. If we're talking Russia, Putin, whatever. Okay, let's go.
All right. You know, a couple of days ago, Ukraine president went out, came to United States in a sweatshirt, dressed like a militant, you know, and he asked for more money. We already gave him $38 billion here, $68 billion. Now he wants more. And Biden's giving him more, you know. What is he doing with that money?
Hey,
where's that money going?
Hey, dude, you know what? Check this out. This ties in with that FTX, with that digital currency.
Right.
The money that the money that was flowing there from the US, right?
Mhm.
Right? That money that went to Ukraine, there's a large portion of those funds that they don't know where they can't account for it.
Right.
Now, when you talk about what are they doing with that money, right? What are they doing with their money? You know what I heard? I think I heard it on a redacted. And that was, they said that the politicians in Ukraine or whoever is the higher, the Amshalan, is that the way that word is used? Amshalan, whatever. Okay, here's the thing. The theory is that they were skimming that money off the top, pocketing that cash, living fat. That's just, you talk about where that money go to. Now, if you want to say something about Ukraine, you could say, from my understanding, and this is where I'm going to sound like a broken record, because I've said this on whatever segment, but when that incident happened in Crimea, after the fact, the U.S. was training the Ukrainians in the event that Russia were to come and attack again, which now we know 8 years had transpired from the Crimea War, right?
Yeah.
To what's going on now. So they had 8 years to prepare. And now the talk is that their best soldiers are gone. They're wiped out. And the people that are fighting now, you've got U.S. military personnel on the ground in Ukraine as mercenaries.
Yeah, they're training them.
Well, they're fighting, though. They're killing Russians. That there's U.S. soldiers that are, ex-U.S. soldiers. Who knows if they're currently enlisted? As far as who knows who is currently enlisted, right? But that they're fighting against the Russians. Now that's basically putting the U.S. at war with Russia. And then now there's another thing. You got Afghanis that have been shipped to Ukraine to fight against the Russians. Do you know that?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Dude, that's fucking wild, man.
Real wild.
That's bananas. That's wild.
I mean, look at all that bombing. They're destroying the whole cities. Now, how that, man, people, big mass graves here and there they're finding, and Russia's starting to use a chemical war, on them right now. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's a true fact or nothing, but that's what I heard, And now we're going to give them Patriot missiles.
Yeah, I'm going to show this to the viewers. That's the beauty of Zoom. Check it out. Now check this out, Kenny. On Kenny's Corner. No, check this out, Kenny. This is the beauty of Zoom, man. That's why I wanted to go to that's why I wanted to use Zoom.
You use spoofy too, can't
No,
you?
no. What?
Spoofy? or something
I don't know
like
what that shit is. Would you call my mama? You call
that?
my mama a spooky?
I called your mama scary.
Checks out Russia experts. Shocked. Russia expert explains why Putin's change of word is significant. Now, I don't know what that's all about. Kremlin trembled by this news. Israeli unknown weapons propped up within 10 kilometers of 0 point.
Yeah.
You know, you got like, there is like fake news regarding what's happening in
Well,
Ukraine.
CNN is basically, fake news, and you hear them all the time. They're always bashing everybody, so
Dude,
there he is, the Ukraine president.
and let's see what the
Makes a plea for
Ukrainian
aid.
more money.
Yeah, more
More
money.
money.
Yeah. And then then they flash their flag
He has
in the
returned to his
Senate.
war-torn country with, quote, good results after his direct appeal to a joint meeting of Congress to help repel Russia's brutal assault in Ukraine. CBS's Ian Lee is on the ground in Ukraine with reaction to Zelensky's impassioned speech.
President Zelensky entered the capital to a hero's welcome and explained
Look
to a
at
joint
that-
meeting of
that
Congress
pose he had.
why a Ukrainian victory would also be a win for the United States.
Is not charity. It's an investment in the global security and democracy.
Dude, on Alex Jones' show, they said that he was a porn star.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear that? That he was
Uh-uh.
playing the piano with his penis.
I didn't hear that.
I mean, I'm not gonna shit on the guy for doing that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Now, Pelosi, you said Pelosi's in this?
Yeah, she's right there.
Dude, she's not even in office anymore, right? Didn't
No,
she
she-
get voted out?
No, she's still in office. She's not.
What?
She's not the leader of the Democratic
Decepticons?
Party.
No, you mean the Decepticons, right?
Yeah.
Because they're about deception.
Yeah.
Dressed
CBS
in
is
his
another fake
trademark
news.
olive
They'll
green
talk good
fatigue,
about this
he
shit.
thanked President Biden, Congress, and the American people.
Your support is crucial. We have artillery. Yes. Thank you. We have it. Is it enough? Honestly, not really.
Oh, that's really funny, eh?
In Ukraine, artillery is no laughing matter. U.S. weapons help turn the tide of the war by putting Russia on the back foot. Ukrainians believe more guns will help them win sooner.
This anti-air system is very important, so we won't freeze to death.
Well, it's nice to know that free market has made its way to Ukraine. I mean, he is wearing a Calvin Klein hat.
Yeah.
It's the cold and darkness average Ukrainians battle on a daily basis. The Patriot air defense system will provide Ukraine with its best protection yet against Russian drones and missiles targeting the country's water and electricity. In Bucha, a town
That's
known for
fucked
some of
up,
the
man.
worst
I don't want to
Russian
watch that shit.
atrocities,
That's
we
sad.
saw residents
People
living in
dead.
damaged buildings. 83-year-old Janetta Butenko shows us how the wallpaper is holding her roof together. The U.S. is also donating tens of millions of dollars to repair Ukraine's damaged infrastructure, meaning hopefully soon, Janetta won't need to melt snow and ice for water.
It's another freezing night. And for people here in Ukraine, those weapons can't come soon enough as Moscow continues.
But those weapons, they're not going to stop. That's not going to stop the war. Those missiles are coming in from Russia. And if they shoot into Russia, there you have it, man. You're talking nuclear now.
Yeah. Well, they already did. They bombed their airport.
Don't stop talking because I cough, man.
Yeah,
Shit.
that was. I don't know, man. We shouldn't even be involved in that. But that's Biden's buddy. His son was on Charisma there and didn't know nothing about anything, but he was there making money. Then he goes over to Russia, and Russia treats him with something. China gave him millions of dollars for what?
Hey,
What did he do?
Hey, have you listened to the speech that Putin made when days after he annexed those that territory from Ukraine? Dude, let's check that out because I'll tell you what, he makes some points that people in the U.S. are saying. Hold on.
Well, you see, Ukraine used to be part of Russia.
Yeah.
And they separated during the Cold War, or not Cold War, but the fall of the Russian brigade there.
Dude, I have this to say though, that do you know, I'm gonna ask you, can you name the top 3 nations with the most nuclear weapons in the early 1990s? I'm asking you a question, so let's see what you got.
There's the United States, Ukraine.
There you have it. Now, here's the thing. Ukraine was number 3. And with Ukraine being number 3, you know what Ukraine did? Ukraine surrendered its nuclear weapons, gave them to Russia after the fall of the Soviet Union, right? And there was a treaty made, or an agreement, that the U.S. would support them in the event that there would be a war with Russia. And Russia guaranteed that there would not be any drama, right? Any war between the two nations. And now, because they gave up those nuclear weapons, what do you have? You have what's happening now. If Ukraine had those nukes, Russia would not have invaded Ukraine. That opened up a can of worms.
But Ukraine is a dangerous territory to begin with.
Now, why? Now, why?
Well,
I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying, why do you say that?
Well, look at the arrested that one lady that was praying, just like in United States. Here, that lady at one of the what do you call that, abortion centers, and she was praying, and they arrested her. You know, well, United States got Russian police too. You know, so.
Dude, look, I'm trying to
Chinese police here.
I'm trying to find the speech that he made after the annexation. Do you feel that this war is going to escalate, or do you see a peaceful resolution in the ensuing months, if not weeks?
Well, other countries are starting to get involved in it, so there could be something going on later. I hope it's not in the wintertime here, you know. But I think there's something's going to escalate.
Oh, this is it right here. It's long, dude. I don't know.
He says, everybody's saying, you know, CNN and all of them are saying that Putin's dying.
I heard that.
You know,
they're saying they're kind of reading it from his hand. There's something about there's something that's noticeable with a person that they have like cancer or some particular cancer that, and it shows.
Yeah,
he looks healthy to me, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But, you know, that's American propaganda.
Let's see. Let's hear just a little bit of this. Let's hear a little bit of this.
Is your winter skin irritated, dry?
Well, that's what I wanted to hear. Is it irritated? That's the one thing I hate about this is this commercials.
Yeah.
President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin.
Yeah, just like in England.
Thank you.
Look at that place. Wow.
Dear citizens of Russian Federation, citizens of DPR and LPR, Kherson and Zaporozhye regions, members of the Duma and senators of the Russian Federation. As you know, in Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republic, in Kherson and Zaporozhye region, we had referendums. The results have come through, and the results are known. People have made their choice, and it's a definitive choice. Today,
Do you believe that the citizens that were once considered Ukrainians and now are like considered Russian citizens, that they chose to be Russian citizens and no longer parts of Ukraine? Do you believe that?
Yeah, some of them are. They got Russians living there.
But do you feel that? Okay, let me ask you this then. Do you feel that the percentage is large, like over 50?
No.
So now because it's not over 50, you got the people that wanted to remain Ukrainian or wanted to remain a part of Ukraine, and now they're being affected by a minority.
Yeah. It's just like during the war
today
that we
we
had
are
here. You had
signing the
Japanese and
decree on accepting
camps.
LPR,
and-
DPR, Zaporozhye, and
camps.
Kherson region.
Well, I'm not saying about the prison camp. I'm saying like this. Just because you have a few people and they decide, it's like here. Can you imagine if you had a few people and they're like, you know what? We want to be a part of Canada, right? Like, can you imagine Minnesota? You have a small group. They're like, we want to be part of Canada. We don't want to be a part of America anymore. And then Canada moves in and invades that little area and proclaims it as Canada. And then you got all these other Minnesotans, and they're like, hey, we want to be Minnesota. We want to be a part of the U.S. We don't give a shit what this little town thinks. What about the rest of us? We don't want to be a part of it. And that's what I'm trying to draw.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the Federal Assembly will support the laws of creating four new regions four new subjects of the Russian Federation, because this is the will of the millions of people. And of course, this is their right, their integral right, which is emphasized in the principles of United Nations. It's the self-determination of people. It's the right that is based on the historical unity, which was defended by generations of our people who for generations protected Russia. Rumyantsov, Suvorov, and Ushakov fought in Belarus. Yekaterina II and Potemkin fought, and also our grandfathers and great-grandfathers fought in the wars. And people who did not agree with the military coup in 2014, people who gave their lives for the right to keep their belief, their language. It's the people of Donbass. These are victims of inhumane terrorist attacks conducted by the Kiev regime. So these are peaceful citizens, children, grandmothers, Russians, Ukrainians, people of various ethnic origins. Zakharchenko and Izhoga and Olga Tichura and the other heroes of this, the Murgamedov, who was a military who died heroically. All the heroes of the special military operation, they are heroes. They're heroes of the Great Russia. And we would like to observe a minute of silence.
What? Hey.
Dude, that is some fucking weird ass commercial right there.
Yeah.
You got a cartoon drawing with a giant set of tits. Here, come on, there you go. That is,
You know, You take all this even Russia, but you take China. China owns a lot of our land and a lot of our TV stations and like Hollywood and all that kind of stuff too.
To genocide and shelling. And in Kherson, they tried to cultivate hatred for Russia. And lately, Kiev regime threatened death and punishment to teachers. And they were threatening repressions to the millions of people who supported Russia. But people from LPR, DPR, and Kherson and Zaporozhye expressed their will. And the real masters of Kiev regime in the West need to remember this. People from Kherson, DPR, LPR, and Zaporozhye become our citizens forever.
So, do you think that this territory that was taken, do you believe that's going to happen where the citizens in those territories are going to be U.S. citizens, Russian citizens forever?
Yeah, most likely.
Do you think so? You would say that Ukraine doesn't have a chance of taking that land back?
I don't know, but you got to take Russia. It's fighting a hard battle because Ukraine has many other countries helping them, not just the United States.
Didn't you say something about Poland?
Poland.
So we got a couple Polacks there fighting too, or what?
Yeah, we got Polish people fighting over there. Russia got to do like we did with over in Vietnam. They stepped out gracefully, fought a war that didn't mean nothing. A lot of Americans died over there for that, for nothing. We pulled out. That's what Russia's got to do.
Dude, aren't you?
Got to take.
You're a Vietnam vet.
Yeah. Well, you take Russia. They're fighting a war. They probably win it. Because they got. I heard they're using a chemical now. Chemical warfare thing over there. And that's going to stop them. That's going to stop Ukraine. It's got to stop them because a lot of people are going to die. People are, can't breathe and they're foaming from the mouth and all kinds of stuff. It's just like when Trump was president over there in that one country there where they're using that chemical warfare. And they denied it, but they still were doing it. It was the same thing. And that war is still going on. Yes. Russia. Here we got our eyes focused on Russia when we should be focused on China.
So do you feel that China is the real enemy?
Yeah, China's an enemy. Dang right there, man. They bought. Look at all the land that they bought in Minnesota or in South Dakota, right next to the air base. They're not even American citizens or nothing. They're from a different country, and yet they can buy land here. There should be something done about stuff like that, but we just gotta
what?
Well, we just got to sit back and just take it as it is. I guess nothing we can do about it. We citizens can't do jack shit about anything. You start doing anything, you'll cancel us. They're good at canceling people, take away all our freedoms and shit. None of this ever came about until Democrats started or stuff. And they're fighting against each other. They're not doing nothing for the American people. They're not really not doing anything for American people.
Here, let's check this out. It says Russian commander appears to call for use of nuclear weapons.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a while.
Introducing Gun Guns. Discover the coolest, most realistic miniature gun models of all time. Build your favorite gun model in minutes. They even have intricate working parts made of real die-cast metal. Whoa! Stop dreaming of the ones you can't afford and collect the ones you can. Get rid of the junk no one looks at to make room for your new obsession. Goat Guns, miniature gun models, available wherever goat guns are sold.
It's so stupid.
Out front tonight, we have nukes for that. That is defeating NATO. It is a direct threat from a Russian commander broadcast on Russian state TV. He says Russia cannot win the war. He clearly believes it is fighting without nukes.
Yeah.
We realize that our resources, of course, have their limits, and the next spiral of escalation can only be one: nuclear. And we don't have the resources to defeat the NATO bloc with conventional means, but we have nuclear weapons for that.
Defeating the NATO bloc with nuclear weapons. That commander's cavalier certainty about nuclear weapons is chilling. And it comes as the war is now on the verge of a dangerous new phase. CNN is learning the United States is now finalizing plans to send the most sophisticated air defense systems on the planet to Ukraine. We're talking about the U.S. Patriot missiles that Ukraine, frankly, has been pounding the table asking for since the war began. The system can take down tactical ballistic missiles, cruise-type missiles, aircraft as well. Now, for Russia, Patriot missiles have been positioned as a red line. The former Russian president, Dmitry Medvedev, has warned NATO against providing Ukraine with them, saying that if NATO did that, the Western alliance would immediately become a legitimate target of Russian armed forces. Those are powerful words, and based on Medvedev's
You believe that?
Yeah.
words, Putin clearly views this move as an escalation. All of this news coming as air raid sirens blared across all of Ukraine today. That familiar, now haunting sound as Putin ramps up his air assault with crucial help from his close ally, Belarus.
What were you going to say?
You know, all those places like that. Look how nice that place was. Not a bomb even touched that area. All the buildings are attacked. Cars are moving around. People moving around like nothing's going on.
And tonight, there is word of snap Belarusian military drills along the Ukraine border. The country's defense ministry announcing what it's calling a sudden inspection of combat readiness. Now, military equipment is also on the move in Belarus. And remember, it is a country where Putin pulls the strings. Just 4 days ago, here he is appearing alongside the Belarusian president, Alexander Lukashenko. That is at an economic summit. And now today, the Belarusian military is building 2 river crossings along the Neman and Berezina rivers. The big question is whether this is more saber rattling or actually something more in light of the escalation. It is unclear at this hour. But what is clear is that Putin's military situation as it is growing ever more tenuous. And out front now, Douglas London, former CIA counterterror chief for South and Southwest Asia. He's a Russian speaker who served with the CIA clandestine service for over 30 years, tracking KGB agents. Also with me, retired Army Brigadier General Mark Himmett, who is also a former Assistant Secretary of State for Political and Military Affairs. Thanks so much to both of you. And General Himmett, let me start with you. Ukraine fortifying its northern border. I mean, those are really powerful images that Will was able to capture of those trenches. The Belarusian Defense Ministry, in a terse statement, announcing these snap military drills. You've had all these changes in the military and intelligence structures there. What do you think this could be?
Well, I certainly don't think it's going to be an invasion from Belarus the way that the Russians invaded from Belarus, but we didn't think the Russians were going to invade either. Logically, because of the size of the Belarusian army, I think the best it can do is draw forces away from the south and away from the center of Ukraine to lighten up the lines along the front lines. I think it's important to remember that when the Ukrainians did their counterattack during October, they actually feinted. They actually looked like they were going from the south, but their main effort was in the north. So this actually could be a feint so that the Russians could actually increase their fight in the south. But as for an attack by Belarus, I just don't see it making any sense at all.
So, Doug, the context here, of course, is that the clock is ticking, right? That the temperatures are below freezing, well below freezing, and the clock is ticking. An independent Russian news outlet, we were playing that conversation a moment ago, right? But an independent news outlet is reporting that the wives of mobilized Russian troops are complaining, and they're complaining their husbands are getting really sick from the poor conditions that they're living under. In this case, at a Siberian trading camp. They say they're living in tents heated by wood-burning stoves. Temperatures are well below zero. That any medicine that they have, they actually brought themselves, and that they are not being properly trained. I mean, it goes on, right? This is in the Baikal Times, so this is in a Russian paper. And then one of the wives says, Douglas, and this is the thing that really stuck out to me, quote, "We believe that all this is needed for a just cause. We are proud of the guys. We don't blame the authorities." So even with all this, even with that call we heard,
Propaganda.
they take all that anger and frustration, the absurdity and of their situation, and they don't turn on Putin. What does that tell you?
Well, first of all, good evening, Aaron. It's not surprising. It's been
Dude, that's propaganda.
Yeah.
Don't women want those guys to get back so they can bone them? I hate to say it like that, but they want to have sex. They want to love them. They want, you know, they want what every woman wants, and that they don't want their husbands to be murdered or boyfriends to be murdered, right?
Yeah.
And it's a ridiculous. I guess the war is ridiculous, but you know what I was thinking is, dude, this has been going on for almost a year now. And it's eerily similar as far as dragging on to World War II. That's how I look at it. I mean, granted, you got the Vietnam War that went on and on and on and on for years, right? What was that, like a decade?
That was on for a while.
But right now,
this could cause World War III.
consistent with what glimpses we've seen of Russian society, that they'll complain about the mechanics of what's going on in the war, but they seem to buy into Putin's narrative that Ukraine represents a significant threat, an existential threat, perhaps. It's Nazified, and you don't really see a lot of popular disenchantment about fighting Ukraine. You see more just complaints about how the Russians are fighting it. And you also see a great effort to deflect any criticism directly from Putin and putting it on the apparatchiks, the bureaucracy, the army.
Which gives him more latitude. And General Kimmett, as Russia continues to bombard Ukrainian cities, right? You hear those air raid sirens across the country. Barrages of missiles come in now with some regularity here. CNN is exclusively reporting that the Biden administration is preparing to send the Patriot defense system, the most sophisticated air defense systems on the planet. That is the long-range Patriot missile system. What would that mean to Ukraine's ability to fight off Russia's air attacks, putting aside that Russia has said that would be a legitimate reason to target NATO itself by Russia? What would it do for Ukraine's defenses?
Well, it would do two things. Number one, it would significantly alter the ability of the Russians to send cruise missiles and tactical ballistic missiles into Ukraine. But more important, it would bolster the civilian population inside of Ukraine right now. Let's be very clear. Putin is no longer targeting the Ukrainian military. He's targeting the Ukrainian people, their infrastructure, their electricity. He is taking the fight to the people. So putting the Patriot missiles in my view, is a wise movement, because this deflects and mitigates, but does not eliminate Putin's ability to take his war to the people inside of Ukraine.
Doug, last night I spoke with the recently departed U.S. ambassador to Russia, John Sullivan. So this is somebody who, recently saw Putin up close, right? He was in that role for more than 2 years under Presidents Trump and Biden, and he was with Putin directly, personally, in that time. So I asked him about the speculation that we all see about Putin's health. We're showing pictures of him now, so you can see a difference if you just look at a picture in the past 2 years. There is a difference, and the ambassador told me that Putin looks, quote, puffy. As someone who follows Russia and Putin so closely, do you agree with that?
it's hard to speculate from what we see on the outside.
Botox.
Identifying illnesses and the state of health among national leaders, particularly those of our rivals.
Dude, that could be like Botox, man. I seen this chick at Target, and it was noticeable, dude. She had Botox done on her lips, and her mouth looked like her mouth looked like a duck's bill. And I actually felt sorry for her because I'm like, dude, even though she was an older woman, she definitely was in her 60s. It's like, just let it go. You can still look. A woman at 60 could still look beautiful without all this. I have to have filler. I gotta look full. I have to have a more fuller look. And she couldn't. I'm sure she realized that people couldn't help but notice her mouth when she's shopping. In my opinion, this whole puffiness talk, that very well could be what that is. And plus, I mean, granted, you're like the exact opposite of this, but some people, when they get older, they get puffy, they get fat.
Yeah.
So,
except for me.
Yeah, you're the exception, man. You shrink. You're like shitting, holding the seat so you don't fall in.
Is a major intelligence requirement.
I hang on to my hips. I hang
I
on
would
to
tell
my
you, the
hips.
CIA has vastly creative ways of trying to get tissue samples and such to try to get a better look. But otherwise, you're extrapolating from open data. And what does it mean? What are the consequences? If Putin is ill, does it mean he becomes more desperate? Does it mean that we could look forward to a change in regime? And would the change in regime be any better, any different? We're talking about Putin perhaps engaging the Belarusians to attack. Now, here's a country that within 2 years had protest marches of hundreds of thousands of people. And you'd have to think it'd be a pretty desperate act that could actually reignite the fire in Belarus to set the stage for its opposition, largely overseas, to stir the emotions of folks in the country, including its military. So health remains a critical component, but even if you know the answers, it's what does it mean to you?
Yeah. All right. Thank you both very much. I appreciate your time tonight.
Really didn't give you too much information.
As do we.
Yeah.
Well,
front line.
Yeah,
Yeah, if he uses nuclear weapons over in Ukraine, he's going to be killing his own people too. Because there's a whole bunch of people, militaries over there. Yeah, hell yeah.
You talking about like nuclear fallout?
Yeah.
I don't know why I
But
typed
of course, there's
Alex Jones and not Infowars.
there's light nuclear weapons, that just go into one area,
Nah, the wind will blow that radiation, man. It's not gonna happen. If nukes occur, it's it. It's World War III, man. Yeah, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah, but that power plant that melted down there in Russia, that threw out a lot of radiation.
You talking about Chernobyl?
Chernobyl, yeah.
But that wasn't that. That was a nuke. That was a dude. That was a fucking nuclear power plant.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like this segment is over.
Yeah. Alex Jones.
Let's hear Alex Jones's 2022 Christmas message and wrapper upper. That is fucked up. Dude, that's gotta be Photoshopped. And it explodes after image of creepy Joe Biden groping Zelensky goes viral. Did he really grabbed his ass?
Yeah, he really grabbed his butt.
Dude, what the fuck is that? Dude, that's nasty, bro. That's out there.
It looks real. It looks real. Photo op, you can do anything.
America's heritage is under attack. Western culture is under attack because it threatens the World Economic Forum. It threatens the nightmare world that they're trying to create for our society. They want us alone. They want us destroyed. They want us isolated. But we're not. And so in this great Christmas season, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. I want the establishment to know they've not broken our will. And our listeners and viewers, their will's not broken. We are together. So I just wanted to share with you the fact that I see our listeners and viewers as family and all our supporters as family. I run into so many people give us so much support. And I love you and I appreciate you. And you've really helped me not be alone. This incredible fight. And we are stronger than ever. We've been vindicated. We've been proven right. And the world is really waking up. So Merry Christmas.
And hopes that St. Nicholas. The children were mental. These are bad. And mama never touch it. Just settle down for a long winter's nap. Ooh. Like a flash, tore open the window and blew up the flash. When what my wondering eyes could hear, sitting in a tiny reindeer.
So for myself and the Jones family and the entire Force crew, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We will defeat the New World Order. We will defeat Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab. We will move forward because humanity has a destiny to be victorious and do incredible things together. So God bless.
Merry Christmas.
Rock on, Alex Jones. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, with that, we're gonna sign off. This is Rich and this is
Ken.
And we are out. Merry Christmas, everyone.